United States Africa Command has said the U.S. forces have delivered critical military supplies to Nigeria in support of the country's ongoing security operations. In a post on X on Tuesday, AFRICOM said U.S. forces delivered these supplies to Nigerian partners as part of efforts to strengthen bilateral security cooperation. The development comes amidst Nigeria's continued military operations against insurgent groups, banditry, and other security threats across the different parts of the country. The director of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Auwal Musa Rafsanjani, joins us now to discuss how this new window of cooperation can become the game changer in the battlefront against insurgency, as well as the relationship between the two countries. It's great to have you join us today. Good afternoon and welcome to Newsday.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Well, we know that, the U.S. has a presence now on Nigeria. They're cooperating with the sale of lots of precision-guided munitions. We know that there have been a lot of stories of accidental bombings in certain parts of the north. Could the cooperation with the U.S. lead to a genuine solution of curbing some of these accidental bombings and making sure that it's more precise when they do attack the Lakurawa or Boko Haram forces?
Thank you very much. I think it is very important that Nigeria continue to seek partnership and cooperation with international community, particularly the United States of America, that has shown interest in supporting Nigerian government to defeat insecurity. However, we want this partnership and support to be institutionalized through the already existing mechanism that we have. Whatever support that international community will provide to Nigeria, it should be anchored on the basis of the already well-established institutions that we have in the security and defense sector. For example, we have defense industry corporation of Nigeria. We also have Nigerian airports, vehicle manufacturing. We also have Nigerian Airports Institute of Technology. We have other policy framework on our security sector that if we want to institutionalize this support, that will not just be one-off thing. We need to anchor this in to enable Nigeria be able to professionalize in terms of arm manufacturing, ammunition, defense hardwares, including ballisite based. This is going to be useful for Nigeria to institutionalize its effort through intensive training, through exchange of intelligence and information sharing with the United States government. This will be very productive and more useful than just maybe supplying just some arms and then you leave. I think we need to make Nigerian institutions that's supposed to be manufacturing even arms and weapons to be functional, to be effective, so that we reduce the reliance of the foreign arms that the country is currently taking. I think if you look at these institutions that have been established in Nigeria right from the 70s or early 60s to date, many of them, they are outdated, and there is need for the government to make deliberate effort to make them to work. We have these institutions that are supposed to be training, that are supposed to be producing, arms and ammunition, and military software. These institutions apparently are not, effective, or rather they are not even working. And even the training of the military officials that these institutions are supposed to be doing, many times people are saying this trainings are not like the way it used to be in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s. So what has gone wrong? I think it is important, Nigerian government seeks support and partnership from the United States of America and other countries to equip and modernize and upgrade its institutions so that we don't just need to be relying only on one-off military support that is coming from outside. We need to make our institution work. We need to make our military officials feel that they actually have the capability and the capacity to be able to do the work. Otherwise, there's limit at which a foreign soldier is coming to your country to do this work for you. So we need to improve in terms of our even logistic, in terms of
Very well said, Mr. Rafsanjani. But then I'm wondering, what does this military support signal about the current state of Nigeria-US relations following President Trump's earlier declaration of Nigeria as a country of particular concern and, of course, his policy restricting Nigerians from being able to get visas to visit the US?
Well, I think this is a function of the fact that the Nigerian government is not able to, genuinely sit with the American government to discuss this bilateral relationship. Beyond just the military relationship, there are other issues like trade and investment, like issues of Nigerians also doing business, legitimate businesses in the US that have now been limited. Nigerians going to the United States to upgrade their knowledge in terms of science, technology, computer, and what have you. Nigerians also attending genuine meetings and conferences. I think these are issues that Nigerian government need to sit down with the United States government to genuinely discuss this in. It's not just coming to say, okay, because we have threatened to come, we will give you these arms. Although Nigeria has no option then to actually accept this, because if Nigeria refuses to accept, it then becomes a window for the United States to also come and do what they want to do. But I think it is important to activate this bilateral relationship between Nigerian government and the United States in a matured and shared value ambition, so that it will not be like a houseboy or housegirl business. It should be on the basis of partnership. It should be on the basis of, okay, this is what I am bringing on the table. This is what you are also bringing, so that Nigeria can actually, feel that they are not suffering from another form of, colonialism by superpowers. I think the Nigerian official, they need to intensify effort to reach out to Washington, D.C. to have a more frank discussion, more discussion that will strengthen this relationship, because we cannot work in isolation. We need the support of the United States government, but at the same time, we don't want a situation whereby this support will now turn out to be like an opportunity to totally control the country, in a manner that your economy, your everything will be at the expense of them, and you will just be, answerable to them. I think the new partnership will help provide opportunity to discuss issues, bilateral issue that can enhance our, trade and investment with the United States, other social services that, we are supposed to be doing between the two countries. It shouldn't be just one-sided. I think it is important that Nigerian government do everything possible to rectify whatever issues that it has, not only with the United States, but also with other things. Many countries are complaining that we don't have genuine data in this country. Many countries are talking about corruption has become, a daily thing, that any business you are doing in Nigeria, it is embedded with corruption. So investors come in, you tax them, to pay corruption, to pay bribe. These are things that many international communities are worried and are concerned. And I think Nigeria also need to do something around the issues of illicit financial flow. Our financial institutions have become, an institutions for financing terrorism. And a lot of international community are complaining about all this. So Nigeria need to block leakages. Nigeria need to do a lot. We, at the level of civil society, we are doing our best trying to convince international community, because they do discuss with us, they do talk to us, and we talk favorably in favor of our country, but we are telling our country leadership to do more. Yes. Don't organize a fraudulent election, because these are all processes that are making this international community to distance their country from you. If you are continuously perpetuating corruption, doing fraudulent election, violating human rights, doing all sorts of things that will undermine human rights, then definitely you will have a problem with many countries, not only United States, but also many countries that cares about human life, cares about integrity in governance, cares about ensuring that citizens are.
Yes, we are 100%. Just for the sake of time, you were talking about the concerns, the many concerns that you have. I wonder if you thought about the fact that some of those assets, or are concerned that maybe some of those assets that have been delivered to Nigeria from the U.S. military, or some of the things that have been sold that are meant for the military, might end up in the hands of the insurgency due to these very same things that you have said, due to corruption, due to porous administration and the likes. What do you think?
So I think now that America is interested, hopefully genuinely interested in supporting Nigeria to defeat, insecurity generally, whether it is banditry, whether it is terrorism, whether it is whatever form of insecurity in the country, I don't see America providing these facilities, and then they will just simply allow these facilities to go and be stolen or taken by non-state actors without them expressing concern. So I'm sure the National Assembly, that is supposed to also play oversight, will also wake up to make sure that arms and ammunition are not disappearing. Currently, as I speak to you, the Auditor General had declared that a lot of arms and ammunition have disappeared. No accountability on who have taken those in. I think the American government will not give this. I don't know whether it is free or Nigeria is still going to pay for this, but whatever it is, part of what we will also demand is to ensure that these facilities and equipment are not mismanaged, are not allowed to be stolen, are not allowed to disappear, so that it will go to the hands of non-state actors and the cycle of violence continues in the country. We will, as civil society, continue to encourage government to ensure that they do the needful to ensure that these arms and ammunition are protected. But more importantly, like I said, we will continue to encourage the Nigerian government to invest in our national institutions that are supposed to be even providing these arms and ammunition in Nigeria. We cannot simply abandon our own institutions, our manufacturing, that we have invested so much resources, on, to allow them to dilapidate just like that. I think we will continue to encourage the Nigerian government to wake up and do the needful.
Very well said. Now, what safeguards do you think should be put in place to monitor the use of these weapons and ensure that they do not contribute to human rights abuses in Nigeria?
So part of the safeguard, like I mentioned, is that already we have what is called civil-military relation. And the essence of establishing civil-military relations is to ensure that human rights protection is actually adhered to. Civilian protection in the armed conflict is actually adhered to. Right now we have some policy framework that encourages that, although the practice remains something that we need to make sure that we continue to encourage the operators, to be careful about that. The National Human Rights Commission, the civil society, the National Assembly, and the media will all have to work collaboratively to ensure that these are not abused. These are not also have opportunity to undermine the citizens, and these are not also used to do election campaign, because in the previous election, military involvement were not really helpful. They were actually, very bad, because the military have no business in, involving themselves in the threat that some of them were making in the previous election, that they, would be involved. The military should stay away from, politics. This is the only reason why, we can not be able to have confidence on Nigerians that if these arms are brought in, they will not be in the hands of people who will use it to repress and oppress the citizens, or to get it, in the hands of criminals that will, use it against the Nigerian, people, especially the innocent Nigerian people. So those are some guard that we should ensure that we put in place. And of course, we will be talking with the American government because, like I said, we are often to also have access to talk to them. They talk to us, and we share valuable information on what we think would be useful for our own country.
Auwal Rafsanjani, the director of CISLAC, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us this conversation here on Newsday.